Welcome to The Young, Bold, and Old. 3 generations, 1 conversation, a million lessons on life, love, and everything in between.
I'm Melania. I'm in my 30s.
I'm Marche, and I'm in my 40s.
I'm Beth, and I'm in my 70s.
Ready to tackle your questions about life, work, kids, relationships, and whatever else you throw at us. No filters, no fluff, just laughs, stories, and a little too much honesty. Let's get real.
This is the Young,
The Bold,
and the Old.
Hi, guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Since it's our first podcast, we should probably just introduce ourselves. I am Melania. I'm 30. I'm about to be 31. About to be 31.
Gary.
I'm entering my 30s, which my 30th birthday was a hard year for me. I had like the worst.
Like going into your 30s or
No,
like
30.
Okay.
I had a serious crisis moment, midlife crisis, I guess you would call it, at 30. I was not excited to turn 30 for some reason. Maybe it's because I built up being in my 30s so much. I'm like, my 30s. Everyone's told me your 30s are the best. And so I might have built it up in my mind a lot. But now I'm in my 30s. Yeah.
Good. It's good.
I'm enjoying so far my first year of my 30s. But I've got one daughter. She's 4 years old. And I run multiple businesses. I own a Christian preschool, outdoor farm school called Growing Roots Farm School. We're based here in northern Utah, in Hooper, Utah. I run a horse lesson program for children, for youth. And my gosh, what else do I do?
You have donkeys and horses.
A lot of animals. We've got 4. So we've got 3 horses and 1 pony. We've got 3 donkeys and 1 mini donkey. And we've got a lot of chickens and turkeys, too many to count. And we've got some pigs. We've got a lot of little animals going on here at our farm school. So it's a good time over here. And a lot of poop and a lot of work.
And then, are you married? With all the farm animals.
Husband. Yeah, I've been married I got married in July of 2019. So I've been married for 6 years. That's crazy. Time flies. Yeah, we got married right before COVID. And then had a COVID baby. So my daughter was born in 2021, May of 2021.
Yeah.
So
I remember that. Well, I am Marche, and I actually just turned 40 a month ago. And I am also a wife and a mother. My son is 19. He'll be 20 in April. So in 6 months. And my daughter is 10. So built-in babysitter, which is super nice. I have been divorced. Well, let me correct myself. I was married, or I was in a relationship with my son's father for 10 and a half years. So I like to say I was married. Other people like to correct me and tell me that I was not. But it's easier than saying like ex-baby's daddy. So my current husband, I have been married almost 12 years, right? Yeah. And so, we have our daughter together, but I'm in the mortgage industry. So I run that, have an Etsy shop with my daughter. It's just something that we could do together. And we also like to ride horses. And so that's just kind of what we do. We camp a lot. Church, that's our activities.
My name is Beth, and I'm turning 70. Well, in 2 days, I'll be 70. And they forgot to tell you, this is my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, and my daughter-in-law.
Yeah, we're all related.
And I've been retired since I was 62. And since then, I've been tending my granddaughter, which is her daughter. And let's see, what else?
you're a small town girl.
I'm from a small town. I used to be very active. You wouldn't know that now by looking at me. I did a lot of skiing, water skiing, golf, camping. I still like camping. I still do the camping.
Yes.
And let's see. Traveling. I like to travel. I've been married once and had a live-in relationship for 5 years. And what else? I think that's about it.
That's it. All right.
There's so much more. It's
Right.
because as she says things, I'm like, she was dropped off by helicopters to do backcountry skiing and like won
A gold medal.
Yeah.
She doesn't say it. Yeah, she doesn't say anything about that.
So much more. Anyway, we're going to dig into Grandma.
Oh, yeah. And she has 2 children.
I've talked about grandkids, two children and 7 grandkids.
It's funny because as both of you guys introduce yourselves and it's funny hearing us say our little blurbs because I'm like, I want to add more to both of your things. Like, by the way, they've done all these things.
But if you keep listening, you'll hear, you'll get to know us.
I might have to redo that.
We'll help you promote yourself, Grandma.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So for today's topic, because we've all just now said that we are wives and mothers, but we're also all here in Utah. And there's a big, thing of who am I besides a mother and a wife? We hear that a lot in this state. It's kind of pushed, I feel like, that's what you are. And sometimes I know women are made to feel like that's all they can be, and they're selfish if they want to be a wife, a mother, but they also want to have their own career, or they want to go out with friends, or even the people who want to just be a wife and they don't want to be a mother. Why do we have to be both?
It's such a big topic. Ooh, who do you want to start?
Well,
Oh my gosh.
If you start.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think even just hearing that question brings up a lot of feelings in people one way or the other. And I mean, if you just go on social media and like go to the comments section about, there's people feel some type of way,
Mhm.
but one way or the other. I think that, okay, let me try to get my thoughts together as far as, okay, so the first part of that is, who am I outside of? The question is, who am I besides a mother and wife? And I think my answer might bring out eye rolls in people of certain persuasions, because I do think that a motherhood is a calling, and I do think it is the highest and greatest calling. And I think all of your life choices before becoming a mother informs your motherhood. And I think everything you do outside of motherhood actually is part of your motherhood. I feel like everything that I do, whether that's investing in a life skill, whether, like, for example, I decided I wanted to learn, I've always loved horses my whole life, and I decided at 21 I was going to take horse lessons. And that has informed and changed my life to the point where that has informed my motherhood, to the point that I opened a farm school and I teach children these skills, and I teach my daughter. I mean, everything, every way that we invest in ourselves and pour into ourselves, as long as it's serving God, is gonna serve your kids.
Right.
So like everything,
That's
that's
true.
how I think. Yeah.
But do you feel like that's all you are, is just a mother and a wife?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
everything that I do is through the lens of being a mother and a wife.
Okay. So
But yeah.
what if you weren't a wife anymore? What would happen? Who are you then? If that's all you are, then if you're no longer a wife,
But
then
you'll always be a mother.
I think that our soul ties with people are so intrinsic to us. And this kind of gets into another can of worms as far as like dating culture, because
Right.
that's minimized a lot. But like, so let's say your husband passes away or you get divorced. That was such a significant part of your life journey, and you're
Absolutely.
always going to be that person's ex-wife. There's terms now, but as far as I believe in, and not soul ties is kind of a new agey thing. Maybe there's a more biblical term for it that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think
But-
I've heard that.
Like soul ties, like I guess I don't know.
Like a connection, like you'll always, like with like my son's dad, like we were together for 10 and a half years.
Right.
And there's still, a part of me, whether if I had my son or not, I spent from right before my 18th birthday all the way up to 29 years old.
Yeah.
Like that's a
You're
big-
formative.
big chunk of my life. And so like there's things that I like kind of grew up with them, if you will, you know what I mean? And so it's always going to be with me. So is that what you mean, like the soul ties, or is it different than that?
No, I think it's your children that ties you to like an ex-husband or boyfriend or something,
Mhm.
because that's always going to be there.
But if you didn't
Whether
have
you like it or
children,
not.
but if you didn't have children with your significant other, whether if it was a long-term relationship or a marriage, you're still going to have some sort of connection there and memories.
Emotional, physical,
right?
memory.
Yeah.
Spiritual residue. I even say I look at everything through a spiritual lens too. I do believe I come from the lens of like, we have souls, and and obviously things happen to us our entire lives, good or bad. And everything that happens, whether it happens to us or we make the choice to do it.
Absolutely.
And then I'm trying to encompass everything. But like, there were people I wasn't Christian in college. And so I dated, and was not very choosy. It's just what it is.
Well, your
Didn't have high standards for things.
your
Right.
standards were just different. I wouldn't say they weren't high,
She's like, no, grandma.
but they were just different.
Yeah, grandma kind of lived with me through a lot of that. Yeah, you guys saw me through some really interesting phases. But like, I had boyfriends, and there's things that I do now. I dated a guy named Denny for a while, and he was this like foodie hipster, and he showed me how to do pour over coffee, and I use a little Bioletti. Thanks, Denny. That's all. Thanks to you, buddy. If I didn't get anything else from
That was it. But that's an important skill.
Making good coffee.
he was cute too. But yeah, I just think that's kind of a fun, but every person that we decide to bring into, like friends that come and go, it's just so significant whether we like it or not. And
Right.
so, but I guess maybe that's where I say people might roll their eyes when I say, yes, I don't think I'm anything else besides a mother and wife, because for me, it encompasses, yes, I'm also a horsewoman. I'm super proud of all of the skills of everything.
Mhm.
Everything that I do, I'm really proud of my accomplishments. I guess I'm also a business owner. I'm
Right.
an employer. I have employees. I have all these skills and things, but for me, that all informs my motherhood.
Right. No, that makes sense. I look at it kind of the same, but kind of different too, because I feel like if, something happened and I wasn't a wife and I wasn't a mother anymore, I'm just going to say, like, obviously I'd be sad, but that's not the point of it. It's, I think, you are more than that. Like, I am a child of God, and I am a business owner, and I'm a friend. And, I have these types of, relationships outside of being a wife and a mom that I think, I like to have fun too. And not like that I'm crazy or anything like that. But, I feel like that is who I am, but I'm also more than just that.
Yeah.
Like there's more to me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to like say, put it all into everything. I'm more than just being, a wife and a mother. Like that's what I do. It's like that's my career, but my career doesn't necessarily define me.
Can I kind of pick apart some of the language with that though? Because I think what kind of feels not icky, but what kind of doesn't sit right with me about the way that question is phrased is like, I'm more than, it implies that motherhood is less than something.
I can
Like,
see that. But yeah, and that's not right. And I don't mean it that way, because I mean, my
Right.
kids are everything to me. Like the Bible says that we should choose God, our spouse, and then our children. I'm a little mixed up. I choose God, my children, and then my husband. I need to work on it, but that's between me and God, like, and now everybody else. But like, if it came down to it, like I would choose my children. And so for me, motherhood is everything, but it's just not, I feel like I have more to also contribute as far as like, I'm a good friend. I'm a good listener. Like I have my businesses, and, I just, and like,
You don't think that's part of your discipleship as a mother? Like, hey, see your parents seeing you, or your kids seeing you as a friend to someone, or your kids seeing.
yeah, I think it all like encompasses, but I don't think I would ever just, if somebody said, tell me about yourself, I wouldn't just say, well, I'm a wife and a mother. Like I would add more to it. Like that's not my whole story. I suffered through, emotional and mental and verbal abuse from a previous relationship. So that's part of my story. And, I like to go camping. My dad taught me how to work on cars when I was, so what I mean? Like, so I wouldn't just say I'm just a wife and mother and leave it at that.
See, and I haven't thought about this. Now that we're saying this out loud, I think this is really getting down to what my issue is with it, is that when I say, and I think it's maybe how we think about this, because for me, when I say, and it's intrinsically how we view this, because we say, hey, if someone says, who am I? And I say, I'm a mother. For me, that encompasses and includes
All of that. Okay.
And I think that's the issue, is we as a society, and maybe there's a little bit of sexism. Maybe there's a little bit of kind of diminishing motherhood. Maybe there's a little bit of, I don't know, there's probably a lot of factors to it, but for me, I hold it in such high esteem, and I see such inherent dignity in all the things that we do as moms.
Right.
It's kind of trivialized all the time.
Right.
And so for me, I think when I say that, it holds
all of it. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And it does. It's kind of like, I'm sure that you guys have seen it, but it's like a wife is, she's the housekeeper, she's the doctor, she's the accountant, she's all these different things. So, I guess just saying a mom and a wife kind of encompasses everything.
Yeah.
But there is this implied, like, I'm a mom and a wife. It almost seems, and that makes me sad because it is kind of in our society. It's like, oh, just a mom and a wife. Like,
Right.
it seems like, hey, I'm more than that.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Like when you say there's more to it, yes, and when people trivialize it, it's
How do you want to be viewed? Because you are a wife and a mother.
I'm not a wife.
Well, you were.
were.
Sorry, you were. Your children are now grown. Who are you besides that? Because now you have this next chapter of your life.
Yeah, I see myself as a mother, probably more than anything, and a grandmother. So then you have two, not only a mother but a grandmother.
And one day, a great grand. No, you are a great grandmother.
And a great
Yeah,
grandmother.
because your daughter.
Your great grandma.
So if somebody said, describe yourself, would you say, I'm a wife and a mother? Or would you, or sorry, not wife, but would you say like, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother? Would you add more? Are you like with Elenia where everything is encompassed under the mother umbrella?
Yeah, I would probably, if somebody would ask me, I'd say, yes, I'd probably say I'm a grandmother and mother.
Well, it's funny because can I tell you how I see you?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, don't go crying. We just did our makeup. We can't.
No crying.
But I guess, yeah. And I guess this is what I mean. Like, just it's so holy and valuable to me. And as far as like, when I think about people I admire and I think about you, like for me, you are grandma, like your grandma, and that is you. And like your auntie. And so I guess when you see it from the lens of like our kids, like your mom, everything that we do in life and everything, I just think about like the wisdom and listening to us and guiding us through things, and just all the little things you do are so important. It's hard to even put it into words.
Right.
Like, but yeah, so when I say like, yeah, your grandma, I saw you work at a job and we got to go visit you at your job and do Halloween, dress up for Halloween. And I saw you in the yard, cleaning up your yard and doing yard work. And I saw you laughing and we have coffee together. And I saw it like, it's us.
Right.
I don't think we can be separated from it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, should we move on to topic 2? Are we good?
I feel like there's some.
There's tons, but we don't have 3 days to go over it.
Well, because then the other side of that coin too is the people that are really staunchly like, what if I can't have kids?
Right.
Or the people that are kind of
they choose not to.
But they probably, even if they don't have children, there's probably other people in their life that they will mentor and help and become very good friends with, which is kind of not the exact same, but that they'll be very close to.
Yeah,
people
I have
close to.
a friend who has chosen not to have children, and she uses her niece and nephews. Like she has them over and they have sleepovers, and like she's like a cool aunt. I suck as being an aunt, so she's
we live really far apart.
But I also have younger nieces and nephews, and I'm like, no, not today. But she's like, she'll go get her nieces and nephews and like go spend $100 at the store to get candy, and then they order pizza, and like, they just have like a good time. Last year for last Halloween, like she took them out trick or treating. So like that's how she kind of gets. And then she's like, okay, now go away, like I'm done, So that's like her way of connecting.
Can I ask more questions into that? Because I'm curious about that, because I think part of what. And obviously, I look at life through a biblical perspective. And so I think we're called either to be fruitful and multiply and have families, or we're called to, because there are like prophets in the Bible, there's different roles of women in the Bible, and there's roles of women. And so does she feel like there was like a higher purpose or calling besides motherhood, or is it just kind of like me indulgence?
No,
I chose not to because I like my alone time.
Yeah.
Because we're called to pick up our cross every day, deny ourselves.
Right.
And follow God. And that means significant personal. Like being married is not a walk in the park. Having kids is not. It's a personal sacrifice. So I'm just wondering what her calling is then.
Yeah. I mean,
and it can't just be to bring $100 of candy to your niece.
right. Yeah. No.
I guess.
Yeah. But right.
No.
Yeah. But like, just like personal time, you know, and just having, you know, the life of where, cause she is married.
Yeah.
And so just being able to spend that time with, it's just her and her husband, and, you know, they're free to do whatever they like to travel. And, you know, she has a remote business. She owns her own business. So she works from home, and, you know, they're like, okay, tomorrow let's go to California. Okay, tomorrow let's go to Florida. Like, they don't have a tie down, and that's how they like to live their life, is just being able to, you know, kind of do what they want. They can sleep in. They could, you know, they could go out and buy ridiculously stupid things if they wanted to, because they don't have to worry about, you know, kids.
It's a very hedonistic lifestyle.
Explain that more. Like, I don't.
Well, that's what that is just being able to say, like, you're not denying yourself. You've basically picked yourself.
Yeah.
And it's hedonistic.
But I think,
Is that what it means?
That's the definition of it. Yes.
Okay.
We could look up. Do you want to look it up real fast? Oh, you know.
But I mean, I don't know, because sometimes, like, I feel like, not that I would ever trade my children, but sometimes when I'm sitting at home, especially with like my husband and I, and we're just hanging out and we don't have any kids, it's like, oh, I can watch a TV show, like an hour TV show, and I don't have to pause it every 5 minutes. It doesn't take me 2 weeks to watch one TV show.
Not worry about the content.
Or, hey,
every mom puts her kids to bed and gets the forbidden snacks.
Yeah,
like,
yes,
this is...
yeah. And parts of
show.
me are kind of jealous of that, because I feel like we all have that me culture in us sometimes. And, you know, and sometimes, like, I just want to go out to eat, and I don't have to want to worry about, like, okay, who are we calling to, like, watch our child so we can have a date night? Those things are kind of nice, you know? And so I feel like that lifestyle isn't for everyone, but I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, because sometimes I think I would get bored, just because sometimes, like, I do get bored if I'm at home by myself and, like, nobody's home and it's been 3 hours and I'm like, so quiet around here. Like, what do I do with myself? I don't know. I just, sometimes I do dream about it.
And I'm not saying
And then when you retire, you do have that lifestyle. When your kids leave home, and then
that's true.
You're back to that lifestyle.
And I guess, but I would say, I understand. And I think we all, that's part of, like, denying ourselves, taking up your cross every day. Right. And that's the biblical worldview, which that doesn't make sense to a lot of people because you don't see the world that way. I was like, you know, so when I had Nina, I couldn't ride my horse. I couldn't ride my horse for 9 months. And I remember a couple times going out, and Esmina was really little, and they go through that phase where
they won't let you go. Yeah.
So I would have some time. And I remember one time I went out and I'm like, I am going to ride my horse today. And I went out and I put her in front of some probably TV show. It was probably Cocomelon. I'm so sorry. This is my confessions of a bad mom. I probably put in front of some highly fast-moving, uneducational program so that she would watch it. And I'm like, I'm going to ride my horse. And I went out and I tacked my horse up and I got out there and I hear, Mom! Just sobbing, and she comes running out, and it was horrifying because I was riding and she ran straight out into the pasture. And I had to jump off of my horse and run down because I didn't want her to get
stickers and like whatever, right? Yeah.
And I felt awful. And I remember I was trying not to cry, and I felt so much guilt in that moment, and I felt really bad. And I was also frustrated. I said a couple choice words. Forgive me. I was like cursing in the pasture, and I was so mad, and I'm like, and stuff like that really does test you and pushes your and in that moment it's so frustrating. You're like, why did I? But you have to sit back and look at the big picture of, like, why do we have families and why do we have children? To teach us lessons like this. Like, my daughter destroyed all of my favorite lipsticks. Did I really need $30 lipstick? Probably not. I don't care about fancy lipstick anymore.
Right.
They change you inherently and they change you in ways that you stretch you in ways that you'll never be stretched and pushed before. So I would encourage people that choose not to because they want to just continue to stay how they are, which it is nice. It's comfortable being comfortable, right?
Yep.
We all want to be.
Absolutely.
But I would encourage you to do something that instead serves God in another way or pushes you to your limits. And I know marriage does that, but maybe there's another calling that you could look into, because I will say, and it's kind of an uncomfortable truth, but it's not biblical to just choose not to have kids. You're actually
Right. It does say that. Yeah.
It's not.
It does. Yeah.
There's even a further, there's a topic that gets really controversial. It's called being open to life.
Hmm.
And that gets into, like birth control and things like that, which is even another.
Maybe we'll have to bring
The birth control.
which is something that we actually talked about a few Saturday nights ago at a Bible study.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you were there for that one, Mom. But anyways, we could always bring that up on another episode because I mean that'll be like an hour-long episode.
Right?
All right. Well, let's move on to topic number 2, which is what is the most embarrassing memory that's burned into your mind? Who wants to go first? All right. Are you gonna go first, Mom?
Let's see. I think I forgot all my embarrassing moments. It's just what happens when you get older. You just pretend like you didn't do it. One of a very embarrassing moment was I was me and my girlfriend. We always went out every year to celebrate our birthdays. The two of us. One night we'd just take for the two of us, and then of course we celebrated with family and stuff. But we'd go and eat at this certain place, and so we'd went in. We had drinks, and we were just feeling pretty good, and was just leaving the restaurants. And then so I got out in the parking lot and decided I need to go to the bathroom. So instead of going back into the restaurant, I thought there's nobody out here. I'll just go to the bathroom in the parking lot. So I did, and then I went in front of a car thinking I was between cars and nobody could see me. They turned on their headlight.
Made action, like your pants were still down and everything. Oh, that's awesome.
That was very embarrassing. I've never done it since.
That's hilarious.
So it involves nudity.
Does it? Okay, well, let's hear yours. Mine's not very good compared to that. Now I got to hear yours.
This also has to do, it's perfect because we're talking about motherhood and jobs and everything else. So I was working from home. This was like 2021, and this me was probably less than a year old. She was whatever, 6 months old or something. I was working from home, and I do my little weekly Zoom calls with my boss, which was Roger. Shout out to Roger. He was so sweet. But he was my boss, and so we were doing our little Zoom call check-in, and Esmina was being fussy, and I just, whipped out the boob and was gonna feed her, and I was going to feed her, and as I was struggling, her little hand reached out and touched the keyboard.
So the camera
came on. The camera turned on. Wow. And me and Roger just kind of stopped for a second. But it makes my face feel hot. And
oh my gosh.
It was awkward, like probably a minute of silence. And Roger just picked up. He goes, anyway, but Roger had 5 daughters.
Yeah.
He's,
oh, that
kept it moving. We never talked about it.
See, mine is not as good as your guys'. Mine's horrible. I was a teenager. I was like 14 years old, and we were out at the movie theaters. I was with my best friend at that time, and there was like the metal handrails because it was going up the handicap ramp, and I was sitting on it, and I was thinking I was so cool because there was some cute boys, and I was like, oh, just flipping my hair, just doing me. And I lost control. And like I went to go flip my hair and I let go and I fell backwards in front of the boys. So horrible. And being 14 and I went to school with them. It was the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And like I think about that all the time. Like I'm falling asleep. It's 4:00 in the morning and it's like, do you remember when?
Fell off that railing?
Things that haunt you years later.
Absolutely horrible.
That's a big deal when you're 14.
Yeah.
Did one of the boys come get your number or no?
No. I think they laughed at me and I got teased for years after that. I had quite a few embarrassing moments. Yeah. That's just the one that haunts me the most.
Because the boys were there.
Right? Absolutely.
Before we do our outro, I just wanted to add, so as Amina was coming out and crying, and I felt really guilty, and it goes back to, I guess what I wanted to say with that was, we have to remember when we're not able to do the things that we want, and we're making those short-term personal sacrifices, we have to remember what the big picture is, and why God called us to have children in the first place. Because the joys in that moment, I was like, why am I a mom? This is the worst. I'll never be able to do anything I want. I was so frustrated. But now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I could have waited a few more weeks and it is a hassle finding a babysitter and not having the time that you once had. But I mean, I wouldn't trade. I don't know a lot of moms that would trade their kids for the world. And some of the struggles are hard.
Right.
Like,
very
I'm
hard.
not minimizing how hard it is and how much but I guess I just wanted to explain that the blessings outweigh the difficulties even though there are
sure,
real
yeah.
difficulties. Our kids make us want to pull our hair. And I'm not looking forward to the teenage.
That's what I was going to say. And you haven't even had a teenager.
Right.
I'm a teenager.
See, like, so, like, my son, he's awesome as a teen. Like, I mean, we've had a few things, but for the most part, like, he's just been good. I am worried about Raylan because she's like me and I was horrible. And so there's part of me that I'm like, oh no, like, cause your parents always tell you, like, I hope one day you have a child that's just like you. Woo-wee. Like, God help me if that happens because I was horrible.
Why I'm not worried, but because Raylan has an active, involved, God-fearing father.
That's true.
Right.
I don't like, there's still
That's
part of
a
me.
big difference.
Yeah, but she still scares me because if she's anything like I was, like, nothing stopped me because that's how my mom was. My mom was that way. And like, we went to church every Sunday and my dad at that time was the same way. My mom was a little bit more strict than my dad, but I still had that influence and I pushed every boundary that there possibly was. Yeah.
You just have to push back.
Right.
Don't let her get the best of you.
Right.
Keep that strong foundation. Because, I mean, I was a rebel too and had some, but I think we have that base to fall back on.
Yeah.
Once our brains develop a little bit more and you start to become sane again, maybe when you're 30.
Absolutely.
Maybe a little bit of a slow. I had to learn the hard way.
I think that's what we have to do is learn the hard way because otherwise I don't think you fully actually learn the lesson.
In some regards, yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe some of us are just more stubborn.
I think that's where I fall under.
You were pretty good.
Me? No, I was a bad teenager. My poor mom. She was a single mom. So yeah.
I can only
Good
see.
old Grandma Lila.
I was just good at hiding it so she didn't know, which I'm grateful for because she'd always say, no, Beth wouldn't have done that. Because later, when you get in your 20s, you tell what you did. And
I have so many stories.
And all my siblings would be telling on me. And my mom would, no, I know she would have never done that. I'm like, oh,
So
To believe that.
my dad one time found cigarettes in my room and I think I was like 16 years old. And I was like, oh no, that's my friend's. And she'd get in trouble. So I held on to it. He believed that until like I was in my 30s. And then I finally had to tell him the truth. Like, those were my cigarettes.
Friends, I can't believe your dad fell for that one.
Right?
My parents would have been like,
Yeah. No, he was
we
like,
said that
he's like,
ourselves.
he was Marche never smoked. Like, and I was all, okay.
Thank God for redemptive grace and love.
Right?
His mercies are new every day. Oh my gosh. It's crazy thinking about stuff.
Right.
About how far we've come. I'm not that worried about Raylene, to be honest with you. She's just like a lot smarter than we are, I think.
She's good. But there's going to be times that I'm like, yeah, for sure.
Thanks for listening, guys. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Insta, and TikTok. We are the Young, Bold, and Old. Make sure you hit subscribe and follow us on wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you will never miss an episode. Be sure to DM your questions to us on socials or send us an email at theyoungboldandold@gmail.com. Thanks.
bye.
Okay, so some bitty bop, bitty boppity boop.